Welcome to this week's video, and this week I've got myself a Nintendo Switch that fake charges. So I've had this Switch a while and I thought I'd fixed it a long time ago. Everything was plugged in, everything worked on it, but then when I actually tried to charge it I realised there was no charge. So I'll show you what I mean. So we turn it on and then we'll have a little quick look through and we can see it all seems to work, touchscreen's fine. And then we plug it into the amp meter and then we have a look at the amp meter and it's saying it's taking a charge. Also in the corner next to the battery symbol, it also says it's taking a charge. But then if we just leave it, so it's on 46% now, and now I've left it recording for a couple of minutes, so I've fast forwarded it just so we don't have to sit here for several minutes watching it not move. 2-3 minutes in, the percentage hasn't gone up, and in reality it should be going up a percentage in that time. So we've definitely got an issue. So we're going to need to open it up, so we get the iFix out, get a tri-wing screwdriver to begin with. And then we just take out the 4 in the corner, take out the posi head ones as well, and then we take out the back shield, and then we get straight back in. Battery off, so we need to get the motherboard out straight away, and then we can do some testing. Now, I believe all the issues are pointing to the charge chip on the back, so that's what I'm going to go for, that's what I'm going to change to begin with. So this little chip in the corner, as you can see, it has got a little bit of damage on it, so that could be enough. So I'll just add a little bit of flux, and then we'll just get the hot air onto it. And we get our tweezers, and then it comes off pretty easy. Now we just need to try and clear the excess solder away using solder wick, but due to the size it is really hard, so you have to be really careful. So if you leave this on for too long, more than likely you're going to be knocking off a cap, like I have done a little bit there. So we'll keep adding flux just to keep it fresh, keep getting a new little bit of solder wick to take it away. A smaller head does sometimes work, because you want to try and take the flux away, you need a bigger head to try and make it work better. So I bought a few replacement caps from AliExpress. This little charging chip, we just get a fresh one out, and then we just need to move it around so the dot in the corner lines up with the little arrow in the bottom right, and we have it in this orientation. Then we just need to hold it into place a little bit better than what I did there. We'll apply the hot air, and then it should take it initially. And once we're happy it's taken a little bit, we drop a little bit of flux on it, and then we can come back in with the hot air again. I have the hot air on around about 380, about 70% airflow. So just give it another couple of minutes to make sure that the solder's melted. You can see a few bubbles from below, which means it should have took. And if we give it the slightest of nudges, then we can see that it's connected just as we expect. And then we can leave it to cool down. Once it's cool, we'll give it a good clean with 99% isopropyl alcohol, just to get it all nice and shiny around there. And then we'll pop the console back in, we'll plug it all in, attach the battery, and then we'll turn it back on, and then we'll put it back on charge, and then hopefully we'll have a fixed console. So the charger goes in, it's showing it's charging again, and then we'll watch the percentage again. So we're on 48%, I think that says. So I'll leave it on charge for several more minutes, and again I've just fast forwarded through this so you don't have to watch. As you can see, the battery percentage is not going up, so we still haven't fixed the problem. So I've got the board back out, and now I'm going to go for the BQ chip. So because of where it is, it's located next to a few plastic connectors. So I've got this special foam which is supposed to protect it from any heat going out. So we'll apply some flux, and then we'll apply the hot air again, and hopefully this protective foam will stop any of the plastic from underneath melting. I've never used it before, so it's a learning curve for me. So we keep applying the heat, and then once it's all melted, we should be able to lift it up and out. Be careful not to go sideways because you don't want to be knocking any of the caps. There it is, lifted up okay, so I'm happy with that. And then we just let it cool down for a minute. Then I'll apply some fresh flux, and then we're just going to add a little bit of solder to the pads around the edge. So take your time because again, it's a very small part and there's a lot of caps around, and we don't want to be bridging a load of caps. We don't want to be having more work to do. Just make sure that none of them are connected and it's all got fresh solder. Now we just line up our new BQ chip, and then we'll just place it into the right position, and then we'll apply the hot air, and then it should take into place. And then I just need to apply a little bit more flux, and then I'll push down when I'm happy with the positioning, and if there's any excess solder underneath, it'll all squash out and the chip should be making perfect contact. So any excess, you just get your soldering iron and then just scoop it away. Plenty of flux helps with this. And I'm not quite happy, so I'm just going to nudge it around a little bit more. And then this plastic protective side, it looked like it was burning a lot, but as you can see, it's protected it and it seems to have done the job, which I'm quite pleasantly surprised with. So we give it a good clean, again with isopropyl alcohol, just to get rid of all the stickiness and all the excess flux. And then we'll pop it back into the housing, the battery in, we'll flip it over, turn it on, so it's still turning on, which is always a good sign. I haven't broke it yet. And then we'll plug in the charger, so it's saying it's charging again, which it's already done 2 times before. But we'll have a little close up, so we'll zoom in. So we're on 50%. Again, I'm going to have to fast forward through this because you don't want to be sitting here watching the battery meter go off for minutes. But we're going from 50%, so we're going to get any movement. Yes, we do. We moved up to 51%. And now we finally got a proper charge, so we've now fixed the console. So it's a bit of a strange one that I've not seen before. Console's saying it charges and it actually wasn't. And in the end it was the BQ chip, which I didn't think it would have been. Well, thanks very much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe.